Welcome, folks, to the Mystery Angler Show. Today, this is a wild one. The bass is now in season. I'm in a strange body of water right in a major urban city here, loaded full of tons of people going by every second. The water's very, very dark today. Something must have happened, either a boat, things going through, or all kinds of stuff. Whatever it is, something's now muddied up the water much more than it typically is. So the challenge continues today. The first thing is we got to, with the new little mini ED. Now what I had to do is do a bit of a commercial because some of the components I needed to make a small version of this bait, I couldn't do. So what I had to do was just use an inexpensive dollar-like store lure and then change it, modify it a little bit, add some components and different stuff, and still make it this different sort of a bait. So also for entertainment, we're going to do the Holy Shoes Challenge here. And you can see, just like Moses had to walk through the desert, it's about plus 40 out. I'm in this little bit of a shady spot here, and you can see the sun is boiling, and it's rough kind of ground on your feet there. So that ought to be pretty brutal. And but I got with me a legendary fishing rod here. And this fishing rod here is won all kinds of tons of tournaments and many species of fish, from carp to muskies, you name it, even walleyes, all kinds of stuff where I've used them. A lot of people don't they think of flipping sticks just for flipping. I've been using them ever since they've ever been commercially made for all kinds of species and for many different techniques. So this is an old legendary rod here, and this is an old reel. And this mini ED there, what we're going to do is, you can see here, I don't know if you can see all the sludge and the floating slime. So what I had to do is modify the bait and put a dollar-like stuff in it. And I got a weed guard in there and some other little stuff. But the little bait flashes in the front and it wiggles back and forth and stuff like that. The bigger version works better because I can make my own components for it and stuff like that. But in this small one, because of the wire and some of the stuff, I just kind of modify it and stuff like that. But anyways, I'll cover all these kinds of stuff. Let's see if we can first get a limit with the new little ED there. It's a very funky bait, and just like the legendary angel there, Ellen, it wiggles and wobbles when she dances up the stairs. And that's going to be the next challenge. Is after I get a limit of bass, then I got to go up to a legendary spot here in the city that a lot of people fish. There's tons of boat traffic, all kinds of stuff going by it. They try, but very few succeed in even catching anything. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to take either a miniature fishing rod or draw out an old rod, one of the two, and or maybe a new telescopic that I got. And one of them, whatever it is in the Stare Challenge, it's going to be real light line, monster fish of some sort, and we'll take it from there. But so stay tuned and let's see what I can catch. Bye for now. Hi folks, we're continuing on the show here, and here's your dear duckies. Ooh, look at those little scoobies there. These are later guys. I've seen some quite a few many weeks ago there, but they're cute little fellows there. So that is some things, good things about some of these urban waters is that they can still inhabit quite a bit of life in them and stuff like that. So you can see I don't know if you can see this floating sludge and this stuff, but the wind is blowing this like crazy. I found out why it's all disturbed today. They got a weed cutter going back and forth through the thing, so it's making it pretty brutal. I had one fish follow it so far. I'm about 15 minutes into it, but I thought I'd stop and give you an update. Now the wind started, so this is going to be in my favor a little bit. So we'll continue on the show. Bye for now. All right, folks, there's the third little fellow. Now, that's a tiny one, but the ED's working there. It's a brutal, brutal day. It's very slow. I'm getting a fish here and there, and I had to change the blade on it. They weren't responding well to willow leaves and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of tricks I'm going to teach you over the ages, but you can see old Scooby shaking there, so I'm going to let the little fellow go, and we'll be back in business here in a second. Bye for now. There you go. There's the fifth one. There's another little Scooby. But anyways, the bait's working. I'm up now. It's been, what, about 3.5 hours or something. That's the fifth one. It's quite slow for opening season, but it's the Humidex is 42 or 43 or something. So it's brutal, man. Brutal, brutal, brutal. So the fish are behaving weird. There was some kind of machine cutting things back and forth in here, and it's killed, and piles of weeds are everywhere, and there's all kinds of stuff blowing in. So it's a real catastrophe in some ways, but I'm working along it, so we got one more to go, and then it's the stairway challenge. But we got the one and then the next one there, so I got one more to go, and then Ellen, hopefully you'll be a success. But I don't actually have, I got not that much more farther to go, so hopefully I'll be able to get it in time. Take care, stay tuned. Well, it's the end of the mystery angling show, the Bass edition. And right now, the next clue is, oh, you can see that I'm resting now. It was brutal, 40-some degrees with the Humidex. Not that I'm complaining, I'd much prefer that any day than minus 40 out any time. But this would give you an idea of maybe where we could be, what country we might be in. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So anyways, it was epic, but just barely. Just barely made 7 fish. Got a muskie, though, as a side note, and he bit right into my thumb here, sadly. But anyways, but that's all good. I got my juicy coffee here to calm me down, and I got some ice water that they were kind enough to provide. You know, that's what you get when it's tough herd fishing. So it was a bit of a tough day for but it was an experimental bait. But it does work, and I might not have got nothing with other things, so who knows. But anyways, it was a success, and I know a lot of people that would like to have a limit in their bass tournament. So considering it was from shore and this kind of heat, I didn't do too bad in about 4.5 hours or so. So we're taking our break here. Next is going to be the Stairway edition coming up. So stay tuned for that. Take care. Bye for now. Hi folks, the Bass Challenge is now, I've just completed that. Now we're at the second part of this challenge, the Stairway Challenge. It's just like Ellen has to go up and down the stairs daily. I'm going to have to be hopefully there chasing monster fish. Now I have older line on here. And because I didn't have time to change it there this morning, so I'm just going to leave that as part of the fun challenge. I got still the old GW rod here, which is newer telescopic, and so far it's handled them, and I want to test it on a bit bigger monsters. And just to tell you some stuff. Well, what we're doing here today is now that the bass part of it's done, I might throw in a muskie as well and hunt for that in a bit, because it can flood the water and drain it every 5 seconds throughout the day. The current's coming in and out, so it's a very can be a rough spot, especially with tons of boat traffic, people screaming, all kinds of stuff going up and down. And the fish I'm after is a bit of a leery species, and they spook quite easy. So wish me luck, but. Hi folks, this is the second fish of the day. It's what was it here again? Just a little fellow, not big to me, but anyways, this rod, as it was showing the poor man's special, it's landed 39-inch fish. Is a nice carp, big carp, and she was spawned out though, unfortunately. She was only 27. Is it still cutting it out, or? Yeah, it's still on. So anyways, I don't know if you can see this, but I've been battling this fish here now for a while. Finally, I calmed it down enough so I could try and get this on film. You can hear the drag there going. But we're going to try and do this to show the old Shimmy Schumer challenge here. This is the Shimmy Schumer bait version. It's like a bait rig for carp. So here, I don't know if you can see her there. There she comes. There's the Godzilla. Ooh, there we go. So. Phone that somebody can just instantly touch the screen from anywhere, or do something, whatever, speak to it, breathe on it, drink booze, I don't care what it does, but got to do something to make these things stay on film, because the cameras constantly shut off. I find this in several different models, and they kind of agitate it. I'm a person inventor, and I can't stand things done improperly. So anyways, but there we go, another epic, folks. So stay tuned. I'm going to just land this beast here in a second. She's getting tired out. So take care. Bye for now. Hope you enjoyed the show.